Come be part of the show. If you want to showcase your business, Who Got the Juice is the platform. Who got the juice?
Bay Area Podcast. Tune in once a week.
Go. Welcome to Who Got the Juice podcast. I'm your humble host, Fresh, here with
Minnie.
And today we have
Eric Bonanza.
There you go. So this is by far my favorite gym when it comes down to mixed martial arts. And Eric, I do want to go ahead and ask you, what was, your upbringing like? How did you find this?
Get straight to the meat.
Yeah, no, I mean, come on.
Let him introduce
Don't even give me an
himself.
appetizer or like some lube or something.
Seriously.
But,
Exactly.
my upbringing, born and raised in Union City. And so back in the 80s, there was predominantly, Asian gangs, Samoan gangs, black gangs, right? Back then. Gang banging was different. People didn't use guns. People fought back in the day, right? So long story short, I've always been the smaller guy, Filipino, always trying to get recruited into some of those Filipino gangs in the area. And so fighting was kind of the thing, right?
Yeah.
So being the smaller guy that I was kind of forced into martial arts for self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I ended up liking it and getting obsessed with it. And so I started like probably 1989 and I haven't even stopped training since. So we're in 2025 and we're still doing it. So it's kind of like a summarized version of it. Yeah.
Wow. Did you have any previous influences in the martial arts world, or is this something that you decided you were going to get into?
It was just straight. I don't want to get my ass kicked no more.
Oh, okay.
Motivation, you know what I mean?
Okay. Did movies inspire you? Or?
Of course. You got your blood sports, your Bruce Lees, your Jackie Chans, but those were just entertainment at the time, right?
Yeah.
And then, when you actually start doing it, and you're like, oh man, I could actually do what I see on TV, then you kind of get addicted to it. You get obsessed with doing it. And so I put all my effort, like I didn't play sports in high school, I didn't play basketball. I obviously can't play basketball because I'm short. But, that was my sport, right? So being a smaller kid, maybe $125 soaking wet in high school, this is what I was good at. And so I just continued and continued to hone my skills, and it kind of led into opening up this gym.
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do you got any siblings, any brothers?
Yeah.
Sisters?
So my mom passed away fairly early, 1989, and that's coincidentally the same year that I started training. So that gives you, a distraction, more motivation. I have a younger sister who's 5 years younger. She did it for a little bit, but not as serious as I am. So it's kind of my thing.
Yeah,
So at the time, how old were you in 1989?
12.
You were 12.
Yeah.
Did it deviate you from the gang life?
Yeah, 100%. Right. So in that sense, it kind of saved me from, getting involved in that circle of friends. Ironically, a lot of those guys that were trying to mess with me back in the day are now I'm teaching their kids over here.
Wow.
That's cool.
So when they were punking me and, trying to get into fights, the park, following me home, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Can I swear?
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Fuck shit, ask. Okay, I just want to get out of there. Anyways, you do all that fucked up shit, right? Yeah. And so, ironically, when the gym opened up, like, hey man, remember me? Now I'm teaching your kids. I'm like, man, I'm gonna kick your ass back. No, but the part that was cool about it is I never really retaliated, even in training, because you're supposed to be taught for respect and all that, self-defense only, right? If I was an asshole, I would have been like, all right, let's go a couple rounds, guys, and do that kind of thing. But I was just a quiet dude. And so, ironically, full circle, I'm teaching other kids.
What about, do you have kids that you yourself?
I do. I have 2 kids, 2 boys. I'm married to a Canadian Filipino. Kids are 9 and 11. Canadian Filipino. Yeah, they're in Canada right now. So we send them to Canada for the summer.
Okay.
And then I get to be an adult for a few months.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's like when we send kids to Mexico.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing. Yeah. And then, the threat, like we're going to sit, like, they are like, all right, we want to go to Canada. But anyways, they don't train because I don't force my passions on them.
Right.
I want them to find their own stuff, right?
Okay.
And if they happen to end up joining later on, then cool. One of them gets bullied and he's not motivated to train.
Interesting.
Everyone gets bullied at school at some point, right? Yeah. But it's not something that motivates him to, I want to start learning how to fight or train or anything. He's just like, whatever, it is what it is. And then he just deals with it. But they're not into it. Like, I think I could attribute that because, they were here since they were in their mom's belly and in the stroller and walking around. So this is like their other living room. So they're just not interested.
For any parent that is, coming in here with their kids, is that like the primary thing to tell them, like, hey, just don't force them into it? Just
Unfortunately, I think I would have to say 80% of the kids that come and join and sign up, they're here for bullying or harassment or something, right? And then the other 20% are people that are either casual or they're actually really interested in it, right? That's, I would say, from 10 years and under. And then the 12-year-olds have more of the issues, like high school, middle school. But do I say that? Of course. You want kids to want to come to the gym, to want to train. You don't want, when parents force you to do something, and then you get that kid that doesn't want to be here. And so you got 20 kids and you got one kid that don't want to do it. It just messes up the whole class because it's always like that. There's always going to be that one kid.
Yeah.
Right.
So just to kind of bring this up, I do have my daughter signed into
You did
this,
mention that,
this academy. So one good thing about what Shifu did, or Eric, is that he pretty much said, he said, let her get into class, let her figure it out. She's going to tell you by the end of the class whether she wants to go ahead and continue or not, but that's kind of her decision. And that's how
she continued.
Yeah, and that's how I kind of like told her. I said, like, you want to go ahead and continue on doing it, then it's good. But
That's cool. How old is she?
she's 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's that line too where you force them or you're kind of forced to force them, right? Because there's some lazy ass kids out there, right?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Because I recall being around that age and I was kind of forced into music a little bit because my dad was a musician.
Yeah, same here.
And I kind of loved to hate it. And I hated to love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was kind of like, it really is in me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was really into it. When I was entering into my teen years, I wish my dad would have forced me, or not forced me more into it, but just like provided more opportunities for it to happen more naturally.
Yeah.
So I will say that there is like, I get that there are kids who just don't want to do it at all. I think as parents, we kind of have to like push them though a little bit.
I agree. And so there's that line that you got to either, nudge them to do it and say, hey, you're going to benefit from this in later years.
Yeah.
Or the word force is a little bit of a harder word, right? Where you're actually making them come and they hate coming. So there's that line, you got to know your own kid.
Yeah.
You got to know your own personnel, right? And so I always encourage parents, hey, let them kind of give you a part of the decision because ultimately they're the ones going to be on the mat, right? Yeah, you're paying the tuition. Yeah, I could use the tuition, right? But do you and does your kid want to be here, right? And so you have a different energy when everyone here, especially in the adult class, everyone wants to be here. So everyone's
absolutely
trying hard. And then you got kids that are like, hiding behind the pole and shit.
Exactly. You're not lying.
No, I'm not. And then you get the kid that walks off to his mommy.
Yeah.
I've had some pretty bad parents here, man. I had this one lady, her kids were kind of heavy set, right? She was feeding them hamburgers in between drills.
Oh.
She would walk off.
In the gym?
During class. We feed him a hamburger. She had a hamburger waiting like this.
No way.
And so after every drill, his little fat ass would walk off the mat and then take a bite of this hamburger and go right back to drill. I was like, you can't encourage, you're here to have him lose weight and you're feeding him a hamburger. So parents also are, like they're over spoiling their kids sometimes nowadays, right?
Yeah.
No one smacks their kids anymore. You got the timeout generation and the smack generation.
I don't condone that.
Which one, the smacking or the timeout?
Smacking, of course. I don't know. I can speak for myself. I was smacked into a goody two shoe, but we rebelled out here, so it was not a good thing. I think it like does the opposite of what it's supposed to be doing.
Sure, you can read all the studies, psychological studies, blah blah blah, right? But then if you look at the generations, correct me if I'm wrong. You tell a kid from my generation to sit their ass down, and a kid now, there's a big difference.
Look. Let's go back.
All right.
No. Because here's the thing. You don't want your kids to fear you. You want them to respect you.
100%.
And ultimately, that's the goal. That's always been the goal. That's why back in the day, people used to smack their kids. Like, put some respect on my name. Wouldn't it be so cool, though, if they respected you without you having to physically assault them?
100%.
Because then, you know what I'm saying? Like, you are the person that's supposed to protect them, and love them,
Mhm.
if that's what they get from the person that they love and you know, we're supposed to love them, imagine what they'll accept from the world.
But the
So
world
you're
is,
setting the tone.
but the world's not always perfect. You know what I mean? So they learn behaviors from other kids that aren't parented well, and they'll pick up habits from their school and their friends and the outside world. Yeah, I 100% agree with you that I wish that it didn't have to resort to that. But sometimes, yeah, let them know every once in a while. Not like it's like a daily thing. Like maybe,
Like today's Tuesday.
yeah, like you know, let me warm up my belt. No,
What do you want today?
yeah. Belt or slipper, right? But
Yeah.
it's all situational, obviously. You know, in to my defense, it took one time and one time only. Now they don't talk back.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't do it like, you know, I got him to look. I got the look down.
Yeah.
They don't got. They don't. Need
Yeah,
it no
I mean,
more.
there's a difference between like, hey,
Yeah.
stop it.
Yeah,
And
I'm not doing ground and
abuse
pound
and something abusive.
Yeah, I'm not MMAing my kids and shit.
And if you see Shifu when he's teaching, dude, he'll do like, this is the one thing I like about at least kickbox is, right, his shirt says no spinning shit, but this
What
guy
does that
will-
mean? What does that mean?
Well, I mean,
It's an etiquette. I'll tell you what's
Okay.
Yeah.
but when I tell you the amount of spinning like kicks and all this like crazy like John Bones style, like some cool stuff, honestly, like that I still don't have down, but dude, he'll definitely do it like
Some
clean.
Mortal Kombat
No,
stuff.
dude, like some legit stuff, some clean stuff. Hell yeah.
So this shirt, it's an etiquette thing. So when we spar, which is basically like live combat,
Yeah.
there's etiquette with combat and sparring, and not a lot of gyms enforce really good and clean etiquette. Sometimes they'll just bang and just go, right? But that creates also the same, tying into what you're saying about kids getting hit. It creates bad habits. It creates fear, and the person doesn't learn. So no spinning means that's a dangerous technique. Don't do it unless you're an expert. Don't do it until you trained it years and years and years and years. So I've done it for a long time, so I can spin, but everyone else shouldn't spin during practice. So no spinning shit.
So the one thing I also like is I do jujitsu at this academy as well. And if you're like on the bigger size, like, and you're going up against like, let's say some like teenagers, some kids, there's that weight difference, right? You have that age gap, and something that Shifu does really well and his coaches is that he'll tell you, hey, you know, if you're heavier, you got somebody younger, just, you know, like cut them some break, you know, like don't go crazy hard on it. So
Okay.
yeah.
And so, so you mentioned jiu-jitsu, kickboxing,
Muay Thai.
and what is it?
He has a Muay Thai as well.
Okay, what are the differences?
There you go.
Put me on.
All right. So I'll go back historically, right? So the way the gym was formed, I was formerly trained in some other martial arts before. And you would say probably in the early 90s, MMA got really, really popular. And then it's now, and even has been for the last 20 years, the fastest growing sport in the world, right? Over soccer, football, those are all established sports.
Right.
But now MMA is starting to become more mainstream, you know, hitting regular TV. They have it on Channel 7 now.
Pay-per-view.
They have ESPN, but pay-per-view you still got to pay. Now they're putting on public television, right? So that being said, mixed martial arts is a mixture of, if you were to do a really standard MMA gym, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, and jiu-jitsu, and wrestling. Those are the 5 disciplines that you'd have to do to practice MMA correctly. We teach all those aspects here. And so it's very rare, I think, in this area that you have a gym that teaches all the separate disciplines for mixed martial arts and then blend it together into one big sport. And so with that being said, you know, we have a couple of professional and amateur fighters here that are champions.
Oh, wow.
We've held a belt in one division for 6 years. Not to brag.
No brag.
I'm just saying.
This is
No,
the
but you know,
moment.
it's we have a program that we put together collectively that works. And in each discipline, I brought in an expert to help me because I'm not an expert in everything.
Right.
I brought in a black belt for jiu-jitsu. I brought in a boxing coach for boxing. I teach the Muay Thai and the kickboxing, and then I teach the MMA all together. So that's basically what we offer here.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
And what's the most popular one?
Jiu-jitsu, right? I'll say jiu-jitsu is the biggest class here.
And if you're looking in the next 5 years, it's only bound to blow up even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason being is arguably one of the most effective disciplines that are out there, right? And so you have in our class a range from 14-year-old girls all the way to grown-ass 60-year-old men, right? And the ability to have that mixture of age,
Mm-hmm.
culture, and genders into one class, and having one class is pretty amazing in
Yeah.
itself. Yeah, it's really rare that you could practice, let's say, Muay Thai, 14-year-old and a grown ass man together. That's not really equal. But in
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu, for some reason, it works.
Do you hold ceremonies when they like progress in their belt colors?
Good question. So on the wall, you can see the progression of belts, right?
Yeah.
So starting at white belt, you're beginning all the way to black belt. And so yes, biannually or twice a year, Charles Gracie is the jiu-jitsu that I decided to franchise into this gym. They hold promotions. And so, students are evaluated throughout the year, throughout the months. And when we feel that they're ready, we promote them to the next level.
Just because I don't know. There's 2 belts beyond the black.
Yes.
What is that?
Good question. So the coral belt is the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Those are basically saved or honored for more the senior members, like Charles Gracie himself, the Gracie family.
Okay.
And the red belt, no one gets anymore. The red belt is reserved for only the founders of the sport. So we're talking about his grandfather. So Carlos Gracie, Helio Gracie, those are the only people that no one can get awarded the red belt anymore.
Wow.
They want to keep that separate, like, hey, these are founders, kind of like Mount Rushmore, right? They reserve that honor, and then everyone else could get the coral, but it takes a lot of years to get.
What color do you have?
Brown, match my skin.
Okay.
Brown. And I'm on the long path. So typically a person takes about 10 years to get their black
I see.
if they consistently train. I've been doing it for about 15 and I'm still brown.
Okay.
But it's because I have the other disciplines. So I'm pulled between the 5 different things.
Yeah.
And so my journey is a little bit slower.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Yeah.
I don't want a black belt out of mercy. I want a black belt.
For real.
I know I can handle everybody on the mat as a
Right.
black belt. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about your trajectory, your like highlight moments in fighting.
Highlight moments in fighting? In my personal or in the gym?
In your personal, yes.
So I was younger when I was a practitioner, right? And so organizations of like competitions wasn't as cool as it was today. There's not that much social media. People go, hey, let me see your fights. I didn't have an iPhone to record it. I had the old school VHS shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's how old I am. I'm gonna be 50 this year.
Hey, okay.
Like in July.
That's great.
Yeah.
You don't, what?
Yeah, it's 50.
I'm trying to be like you. What are you
50, half century. So back then, like seriously, it was VHS tapes. And so when people go like, oh, you used to fight, let me see. I can't produce anything out for you. So it's just by word of mouth that people knew I used to do that kind of stuff. But my crowning moments now, I figured out that I'm a better coach than I'm a fighter. And so I'm pouring all my knowledge into the newer generation of fighters. And so my first championship belt here, I have to say, would be like living proof that I'm doing something okay, right? So if I could make a champion from here, and we've had several champions, that's kind of like my crowning achievement for sure.
Yeah.
And who are some that you can kind of like, because you do host, events where you have, fighters fight and, you do have pretty much like tickets for anybody that wants to, pretty much join any of these and support. Which are some that are coming, in June or sometime, that people should be looking out for? Yeah.
So California, it's split, geographically. You got your northern and your southern, right? We typically like to stay in Northern California. So we've kind of associated ourselves with some of the Northern California bigger organizations. So one is Dragon House. And then you got some in Central Valley, 559 Fights. You got 209 Beatdown. You got New Money Fight Club that just came out. And so it's just depending on the type of fighter and the event and the date will we participate.
Okay.
And so what they do is they always call, hey, I got a guy for your guy. He's 3-1. He's a wrestler. He said he wants to take your guy out. You want it. And so that's how it usually gets negotiated.
Nice.
And then being a coach, it's my job to make sure that it's fair and that the matchup is equal. Or I make sure that they're going to kick their ass kind of thing. And we usually accept. But, moving up the ladder, all the way up to a belt is a time thing, right? It's not like they win one fight, they get a belt. They got to fight like 5, 6, 7 times before they get up to that level.
Okay. And is it televised or is this kind of like more
all
underground?
Of the above. So what Jesus was saying is for tickets, right? So I during class, like, hey, I got 2 people fighting. The money, the ticket sales, they go to the fighters, right? So the organizations will say, hey, if you sell X amount of tickets, we'll give you 20% of the ticket sales. So I try and push and, create their own brand for them. So as fighters, they could, make a name for themselves, right? And so we're always trying to support. Like, for example, last weekend we had 5 fighters. And I think we sold in excess of about 300 tickets. Right? And so as a fighter too, you're in the ring or you're in the cage and you hear all your boys screaming. That's what gives you energy, right? And support, to know that your community is supporting you, right? And other members that you train with come support you. That's how you have a community in this world.
The events happen here or?
No, like at Keys Art Pavilion, Cow Palace, the new Money Fight Club, they did at Pure Nightclub in Sunnyvale. It was pretty dope. Like to have a fight in a nightclub.
Wow.
That's pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. And like I wanted to go to that event, but I had 4 fighters at the other one. And they had like, VIP tables. They try and do it all Vegas style.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but it's cool. Yeah.
What's the most controversial thing that's ever happened on this ring?
In this ring right here?
Yeah.
Male ego. Male ego is the most controversial thing in here.
Yeah.
So for example, I lay down a 30% rule, meaning when you guys spar, we only go at 30%. So 30% would be, do I hit you 100%? Do I hit you 30%? So you get the scale, right? So you got to hold some of your shit back, right?
That's hard to do.
Not if you're technical.
Ooh, Weenie most violent.
Damn, the 100% kind of girl all the time.
In my experience, once you're there, you're there.
But you're sparring, Just kind of.
That's
It's practice.
That's true.
It's practice.
It's a
Island
different-
Iverson is practice.
Different mindset.
Right. So it's controversial shit here. You punch me too hard, so they punch it back hard, and they start really fighting. So we've had stuff like that. We had people slam people too hard. We've had people, stick stuff in places we're not supposed to be stuck. You know what I mean? You got people hitting after the bell. You got people get kicked in the balls. Shit happens, man. Two people with 2 sets of skills, and we're throwing at each other. Something's bound to go wrong eventually, and so it usually does. But because we're all good teammates, it's like, all right, back up, reset, and then come back at it again afterwards.
Yeah, the sportsmanship
But
kicks in.
if you have the same question, controversial in the fights, I got a bunch of those.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do have that question, too.
Okay. In rules meetings during the fights, there's always a rules meeting. Like, hey, these are the rules of the fight. Don't do this, don't do this, don't bite, don't Mike Tyson, don't do that type of shit, right? Well, we had 2 champions. There was a title fight. And they're from Antioch, Pittsburgh, so they were super high feed. And you got us Bay Area side, a lot of Oakland side, Hayward, Redwood City side. And back then, they didn't tell, like, hey, you sit with your side of the blue corner, you sit the red corner. They were all mixed together. So if you put the mom and dad of that opponent and the mom and dad of the other opponent in the same row, and they start talking shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Let's just say after the fight, there was a fight in the crowd for 30 minutes between both families. 30 minutes. There was canes, fucking wheelchairs.
He's like,
swear to God, the ants were hitting other people in the head. People were throwing chairs and shit. Coaches were fighting. It was 30 minutes, and they didn't have enough cops to stop. All these people trained too, by the way, right? So you got trained people fighting in the crowd in different. It's on YouTube. You can look it up, but. Yeah, pretty sick. So every time we have a rules meeting, they always mention that fight, which we made kind of famous of what not to do during a fight.
Right.
But you get heated, right? Who's your favorite fighter? You got a favorite fighter?
Oof. I mean,
you watch boxing, no?
I do watch boxing.
Basketball, football.
I want to say Pitbull is my favorite fighter right now.
Pitbull, Pachuki Pitbull.
Is that what his name?
There's a few Pitbulls out there though.
No, he's a Mexican fighter. He always fights like this, kind of
some boxing
with his forehead.
All right.
He comes
Do you get hype when he starts beating people up?
Yes.
All right. So imagine that in person with the other side talking shit to you.
Yeah.
Right? And they go like, "Oh, you're fighting ain't shit. Fuck you." And it gets heated, and then everyone got their egos, and I know how to fight, and no one talked to me. It just gets heated.
Yeah. Who's your favorite fighter?
I would have to say Demetrius Johnson.
Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah. But next to that, close would be Anderson Silva. Before he took fights when he shouldn't have been fighting.
Yeah. The recent ones, like the boxing ones.
Not old Anderson Silva. I like dominant. And then Jose Aldo is another one of mine too.
Jose Aldo.
Yeah, those guys are dope. Do you know those guys? All right, I'll put you onto them. Don't
From
worry.
like the UFC.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like, I don't do any form of fighting other than with my words and my actions and advocacy. I don't even do video game fighting. Like, I'm not in tune with it, so I really don't know.
Does this interest you at all?
No.
At all?
I mean,
Okay.
just watching more than anything. I think maybe if I was like in my younger days, I would have been activated.
Younger
yes.
days. You look young though.
Oh, I just turned turned 35, so thank you. I have my 13-year-old sitting over there. I don't know. Is that young or is that
That's still young.
okay?
They say 50 is the new 40, 40 is the new 30,
There you go.
right?
It's so true. I
true.
definitely don't feel what I would think that 35 feels like. I feel like I'm still like 25.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be 50 and I'm still hanging with these little kids
Right.
trying to kick my ass
Don't
all
you
the
think,
time.
because I work with youth, don't you think that the youth keeps you young?
Yeah,
Right?
they do. They do.
They got the swag, they got the
It was Riz? It's not swag
charismatic.
anymore. It's called Riz now.
Yeah.
I get that.
To risk somebody, yeah.
By the way, I hate that language right now. All their language right now.
Yeah. Kind of sucks.
Hate it.
I'm still like, oh yeah, for sure. You finna go to a party. All right, cool. That backyard boogie. And they're like, what?
I accept that because I grew up with that. But when they're like Riz and Aura and all that crap, I'm like, where the fuck did you get that shit? Did you guys just make it up? You know what I mean? I get Riz, charisma, right? But all the other words that they make up, I don't get it. But do you talk like that
I didn't
too?
even know that.
All right.
I didn't even know that.
Well, I got a 9-year-old, 11-year-old. They come back with new words all the
yeah.
time. And I always tell them to talk properly.
Yeah.
Especially kids nowadays, how they say like every other word, that bugs the shit out of me. And I'm lucky both of you guys are well spoken and you guys are speaking straight without having to say, because I fucking hate that shit. Sorry.
People nowadays, they don't talk, well, when I say people, I mean youth. They don't even talk with words. They talk with like with body language.
And their attention span are like this, right? Because they're looking through stuff, right? It's like 15-second stuff, right?
Yes.
And even in TV, they're on that. And I'm like, watch something for more than 2 seconds. So their attention spans are all short like that.
Yeah.
And so
I wouldn't say all of.
Or they get sucked into in the phone. They'll just be in the phone. You're talking to them. It's just like this.
I mean, I can say that that's me too sometimes. We all need breaks from the world. I don't know about you guys. I get home from work and I'm done for the day. I'm done. Like, I'm overstimulated. I just need to chill out.
This is my break from the day, coming here.
Yeah.
And so that's another reason why I created it. I feel people come here to escape their regular job and family and life, even family.
Yeah.
You need a break from your family, shit.
Sure.
Right? So I think when people come here, I see their attitudes change, right? When we hang out outside of the gym, people are completely different. But when you're in the gym, it feels like their most honest self in here, right? Like they're the most realist version of themselves in here, where they relinquish their ego, their physical abilities. They're here just to be open and to learn, and they're vulnerable. Right?
Would you say it's therapeutic even?
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I haven't stopped training. Maybe that's the fountain of youth, right? To look like this when you're 50. No, but if you sweat every day, you get rid of all that bullshit you ate, all that shit you drank the day before. And then when you're done, Jesus, do you agree? You feel like you did something for the day?
Yeah,
Accomplished?
so like when we do jiu-jitsu in particular, I don't know what it is about, and I'm going to be very honest, bro. A lot of the times you're getting choked out. A lot of the times you're getting submitted. A lot of the times...
That's why when you asked if it interests you, immediately my thought went
your
there.
arm gets it gets cranked. It's just so many stuff that goes on. But afterwards, I will say you do feel a sort of, calmness.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
You can get home. Your daughter's running around.
Yeah,
She's doing
any aggression is out the window.
Absolutely. So
it's kind of like smoking a joint. Like you just
Some people smoke
live
joints
it.
before they come in and after they do it. I don't know if you know, there's a bunch of jiu-jitsu practitioners that are really, really good that smoke weed before they compete.
Yeah, I mean, would you say that that's a bad thing?
It depends on the person.
Okay.
Like Eddie Bravo, right? He holds this tournament called High Rollers. The rule is everyone, including the ref, got to get high before the match. What? Right? And
I think
it's for you, right? And then instead of giving championship belts, they give pounds of weed, and you get to choose what kind, like Maui, whatever, purple, whatever, train wreck, and they give you that as a prize. But the point is, it's an aggressive sport, but they get that weed mentality. Like, we ain't trying to kill each other, but we're just trying to compete.
Right.
And people feel that when they smoke, they get more fluid and more creative. And jiu-jitsu is all of that.
It's definitely a focus ability.
Yeah.
When you're high.
Imagine a competition with just a smoky ass room and everyone's rolling on the ground. You're like, what the fuck is this? And there's prizes like a pound of weed is pretty sick. But he's one of the best jiu-jitsu guys on the planet. And
That's really cool.
Yeah, he holds that, yeah.
I'm happy to know that.
She's like, sign me up.
It's a big world. MMA is a big world. You know, you could go on the jiu-jitsu side, Muay Thai side, kickboxing side, boxing side, and have your favorites in all the sports, right? You're probably not familiar with a lot of Muay Thai guys because they're all gonna have big ass long Thai names, but super cool in Thailand, right? And then boxing, you know, your boxers. Everyone knows Pacquiao and Mayweather and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And then kickboxing, there's Glory, which not a lot of people watch because it's not televised all the time. And then there's one championship, which I feel is better than UFC. People can argue with me,
Oh.
but I think one championship's better than UFC. I think so.
What are some good fighters that you enjoy in one championship?
Demetrius Johnson.
Demetrius Johnson.
He was your number one guy that dominated his division UFC at 125, had no more competition, killed the whole division, and then went to one and did the same thing. And for someone to do that in two different organizations and be dominant, when I say dominant, he was dominant.
Yeah.
Like no one could touch him.
Yeah.
There was the one with Moraes, but you know, I would say to do that is a very skillful person. Very rare to see that crossover. On the other side, that trade was Ben Askren that we took from one to UFC, and unfortunately Ben didn't have the same success. There's two different ways of fighting.
Because you have the UFC saying anybody that comes from any other organizations, they can't make it to the UFC level.
Yeah.
That's what Dana White preaches.
Right. But the opposite is also true. A lot of those guys wouldn't be able to make it to one championship. So the thing with one championship, I'll explain, is a lot of those guys are either current or former champions. And all of them are all striking geniuses, meaning they're an expert in either Muay Thai, kickboxing, or boxing. It's unfortunately not very grappling heavy or wrestling heavy, but it goes for more action. Like there's more knockouts, there's more kicks, there's more punches. Sometimes people in UFC, they get bored when they're laying on the ground for 30 minutes or they're on the wall for 30 minutes. And honestly, like the flow of that type of fight, it gets boring after a while. Man, I paid $100 and I'm seeing two men humping on the floor for 30 minutes. You know what I mean?
Basically.
So are you excited for Sean O'Malley and Merab?
No. No. I think
Are they known for that? Or?
No, so Sean O'Malley has this, you know who Tekashi 6ix9ine? The whole rainbow personality.
yeah, he had the same persona.
Yeah.
Smokes weed, you know,
okay.
crazy on social media, that kind of shit, talks a lot of shit. But to his credit, he made it all the way to the top to being champion.
Right.
Right. But he got dethroned by this monster of a man. Right. And so I think he lost fair and square. So I think the rematch obviously is in the clause in the contract, but I wanted to see something different.
Gotcha.
That's all.
And then you have under that, you have Pena going against, I don't recall the girl's name, but she's buff. Like, she has this aesthetic where she,
I think it's Macy Barber, I think. But I have a story on Julia Pena. I don't like her. Sorry, guys. But it was a in-person thing. So I had a female that was a champion here. She was fighting for Invicta. And so it's an all-female MMA organization, if you're not familiar with what it is.
Okay.
And so it's Midwest, Kansas, but they had a couple of events in Vegas. So we fought in a couple of those cards. And we were done because we were one of the first fights. And I got in the crowd. And Julia Pena and her whole team was in front of us, right? And she was already in the UFC. And every chick that came out, every girl that came out, she was talking shit. I'll fucking beat this bitch's out. She fucking sucks. Boo. Every single girl that came out. And I want to be like, hey, you were there at one point, man. Like, why are you hating on your females for? Your fellow females. You should be supporting these girls. You were there at one point. And why are you talking shit? Yeah, you're better than all of them. But like, man, you know, she was not being a really good person. So,
Right.
yeah.
Oh, damn.
I think that was cool.
We went to this UFC event, and after she got beat by Amanda Nunes, she was cut up crazy. And she just had a hoodie. We're having some ribs, best ribs in Dallas by far. And she just had a hoodie. You still had people going up to her saying, can I take a picture? But she was just,
Yeah, that's after the fight?
yeah.
She's still talking shit after the fight. Like, oh, I could have beat her. I was like, man, you got your ass beat. Like, stop talking shit. Just,
That sucks.
She does
Accept
have
it.
that, she does have that persona
show
too.
of character.
right.
Really.
But, you know, when people are trying to come up, right, I want to encourage, like, my cousin that teaches the jiu-jitsu program here, he drives all the way from Antioch, Pittsburgh, which is about an hour drive to come out here. And he opened up his own academy in Pittsburgh, Antioch. And of course I'm going to support that, right?
Yeah.
This is how you should do your books. You know, don't do this, get a loan from here. You know, I'm going to teach him all the shit that I did wrong.
Right.
And so you want to help people come up. And so that type of behavior, especially in fighting, man, you know, everyone's trying to get to the top. And there's no reason to hate on those people, man. Fighting's fighting, man. It's already a tough sport. what 3% of the population does it.
Yeah.
So, you know,
You think it's like a way to call attention, like to be controversial?
of course, 100%.
I mean, that is part of the reason why some people are famous, even,
Like
right?
like Jake Paul and all those people,
Jake Paul.
right?
Just like in general, generally speaking, anybody who's in the known eye.
We can get into that.
Yeah.
So I hate that social media allows you to act like a dick and get famous for it. And so you
Yeah.
got all these people that have
the
this
setup. It's
you're
the-
right.
it's-
They have this shtick persona and it makes them famous.
Yeah.
And then obviously this is an old school mentality versus the person that works hard and puts their time in and all that kind of stuff.
Well, it's because it's a popularity contest at
Yeah,
the end of the
yeah,
day.
yeah.
So the more people talking about you, whether it's good or bad,
Yeah.
the more fame you have, the more popularity.
You know what's funny though is I hate it, but I still follow him. I'm still like, oh, fucker.
Who's a
Fucking,
prime example of that?
who's that chick that says "Catch Me Outside"? That chick.
Ah,
And she got an album.
Bad Baby.
Yeah, and she got an album now.
Yeah.
And she got millions of dollars.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
because she
yeah.
had attitude on fucking Phil.
Yeah.
I hate that shit. Is her music good?
I wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't
See, yeah,
I don't
see.
follow that.
What is your playlist that you listen to?
90s hip hop, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, old school Wu-Tang's gonna be at Chase.
Mm.
You know,
What?
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah, this is gonna be like their farewell. Like they're gonna finally get they put all their shit aside. They're gonna do one more tour. They're gonna be
Yeah.
in Chase last time. So that era, that's where I'm at.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I went to The Roots and what's her name? Oh my god, I just blanked out hella bad right now.
Guapole?
No, not Guapole. Just blanked out so bad.
Gotcha. So Eric,
Lauren
Lauryn Hill?
Hill. Yeah. And she couldn't perform a lot of the songs that she usually, she's known for
Yeah.
because of like some controversy back in the day. He was ready to switch the subject so fast.
I was gonna go ahead and.
What was the controversy? Why can't she sing?
Because there are people that own her music or are the main producers of her music, her sound. And so when she was performing some of the songs that I love,
You grew up with? Yeah.
excuse me, my voice, she wasn't doing the same melodies, the same instrumentals.
That sucks. Like Mariah's more like self-inflicted. She just can't sing because she got fat. She don't like to work out. She don't like to work out her voice no more. You know what I mean? Like
You a shit
Does
talker.
that play a part though? Does that play a part? Like
you watch her thing, she gotta take breaks and shit.
Look, I did gain like 45 pounds because I'm in love.
Okay.
Oh, the love weight.
But I
Okay.
can only use that excuse for so long. I need to get
Sorry,
back
Mariah
into shit.
fans. But you know, she gotta do one song and take a break and go have her Diet Coke and come back and sing another song.
That's wild.
She can't do a whole concert straight.
So who's Shifu outside of this gym, of your
Yeah.
academy, of your company? Because you see him walk in and he just
He
comes
was so
in.
formal with it.
Yeah, not today, but just in
Okay.
general, he comes in, he grabs his, pads, and okay, that's what we're gonna go ahead and do. Just more on the serious side.
Right.
Who's Shifu outside of the academy?
I have a day job.
Okay.
Oh, you do?
And so a lot of people assume that this is what I do full time. This shit don't pay the bills, man. I mean, running a gym is not the most profitable business in the planet. It's not a cash cow. There was a time when I opened up this gym, there was 4 other gyms in the area within a 2-mile radius, and they're no longer here
Wow.
yet. I made
Before the pandemic, or
all of the above. So before and after, right? So some of them didn't make it because everyone was thinking like, oh, I could cash in on this thing. And so my day job, I'm a financial analyst for Google. I'm in finance, so I'm a spreadsheet warrior.
Oh, so you freak in the sheets.
I sure do freak in the sheets, and I excel in it. Get it?
Yeah.
Excel. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, yeah, I'm a keyboard warrior at work, and then I'm a dad first and foremost as well.
Yeah.
But props to my wife who's in Canada.
Yay.
I'm being good. I didn't go to the strip club. What do you call it? There's some Vietnamese coffee shops you could take a look.
Oh, wait a second.
where?
San Jose.
Sounds
They're all in San Jose.
Y'all
Well, I
terrible.
don't know though, but no, they're in San Jose. Having this gym and the day job basically takes me away from home. So I'm always in transit. So commuting from the Google office to home to grabbing my shit, eating a quick meal, saying hi guys, and then leaving to here, and then coming home at 11. I don't really stay at home too long. So props to her for holding it down for the last 16 years. She raised the kids on her own. She takes care of the house, cooks all the food, does all the laundry, all that kind of stuff. She has a day job too.
What?
Yeah, so she really supports this. But it's a unique thing. It's a unique thing to have a husband like this that can hustle something like this, be a head trainer of an MMA gym and have a regular job.
Yeah.
It's a unique opportunity.
Yeah.
And not everyone could do it. And so, see, the white hairs are starting to come in.
Barely.
I
Yeah.
have some in them.
Yeah. There's some down here right now.
Hell no.
But that's when you know you get old. You're like, damn, there's a white one down there. No, it's not there. Not there yet. But she allows me to be me here. And so me outside, and this is something that we could be controversial about too. My personality is the same at work, at home, and in here. I'm no different. I don't have that
I love that.
personality at home where I'm like, hi wife, and super proper. No, I'm the same way. We talk shit. I talk shit to her. She talks shit to me. And then at work, I'm the same way too. Yeah, I gotta be a little bit more proper. But even my boss cuss, you know.
Yeah.
They say people that cuss are the most honest people, right? Or most real.
That's what they say?
Yes, I believe it.
You're hella funny. And does your wife ever spar with you? I'm just saying.
All
like,
right.
on some non...
She is the most non-physical person on the planet.
Okay.
She could sit her ass, sorry, babe. She could sit her ass on the couch all day long and just do nothing. When she's in here, she complains about the smell.
Okay.
I mean, jiu-jitsu class, we have 40 people on the mat. And not everyone smells the same.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And not everyone uses degree. And not a lot of people wash their ass after work.
Yikes.
I do have to go. When I do come home, I wash stuff. I take showers because when I come on the mat, I don't want you to smell my whole day, right?
Yeah.
But some people don't have that etiquette. That's a big problem in gyms nowadays is staph infections, ringworm, bacteria, just dirty ass people. Man.
Do you have showers here?
No. But I enforce washing your equipment every day.
Yeah.
Bringing wipes. I do provide wipes too, which I don't have to.
Right.
And that's just me being nice. But I rather have non-dirty members than dirty members, right? So you spend, let's say for example, you join Muay Thai. You got to buy gloves, shin guards, mouthpiece, groin, elbow pads, knee pads. You spend excess of $200. The sport's not cheap, right? That's just Muay Thai. Then you got equipment for jiu-jitsu. Then you got equipment for boxing. So it's like you buying a leather jacket and not taking care of it, right? After you go out in the club and smell like cigarettes and weed and you sweating it, are you gonna clean the jacket or are you just gonna throw it in your closet?
Hanging out to dry first.
Right? And some people don't do that. They'll stuff that shit in the bag,
Yeah.
they'll zip it up,
mold everything.
and then they'll put it in the trunk and then they'll come back and put it on the next day. It's like using a sweaty socks from the gym and wearing it the next day. And some people do that.
And the material in jiu-jitsu is really, really thick. So you have to wash it, dry it, take some time. Yeah, air dry it.
If I'm the dude that's got to go up to you and have the talk with you with your gi, you stink. You don't want me to be talking to you on that.
Oh, it happens. No, seriously, it happens.
And after class, I always announce it. And then when she comes in, she's like, "Ew, you guys stink," and she'll announce it pretty loud. And so, to your question, she doesn't like being here.
Okay.
I own a gym, but she wants her own gym in her house.
Yeah.
It's like, I own a gym, fucking work out at the gym.
Yeah.
But she never works out.
Yeah.
Ever.
Two different worlds, but it works.
Yeah. But she's not interested. So they're separate from here.
Yeah.
And they'll only come on rare occasions.
So would you say you guys are the complete opposites or?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I need to do something physical. I need to hit something. I need to choke somebody out. Or I need to tune people in, make people better. That's my goal.
But see, that offers an opportunity for you to go back home and then tell her all about it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Of course
it makes your relationship interesting when you have things to talk about that.
I don't think I'm boring. You know, she better not think I'm boring.
Right.
I got stories. Oh, you know what this person did, or this person, didn't have any underwear on, or whatever. You know, there's always a story, man. It's no lack of stories in this gym.
Yeah.
That's the cool part. And then we have a good time here too on top of that. So although it's training, we'll on occasion bring, a couple beers, tequila, pizza.
That's cool, yeah.
Hang out afterwards.
Yeah.
A couple members smoke after class. Some fighters, I'm not gonna name any names, but they'll smoke. I allow them to smoke though.
Okay.
because they work hard and they put their time in
Mm-hmm.
and they're champs. So what can I say? You know what I mean? If that's their little break from their training is not easy either, right? So if that's their break, go ahead, man. You're a grown ass man. Just don't lose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you think your secret has been to like your coachability? Like, what makes you still be here?
Why I survived over the other gyms?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I think I took the long road to arrive to where I'm at. And so back to what we were talking about with social media, a lot of kids want things instantaneous. That's why iPads and iPhones are horrible, because I used to go to the library and have to look through the cards to go find something on something I need to look about. Now you just go Google, boom, it's available to you, right? So in that sense, I'm old school where I had to earn it the hard way. So with that being said, I could honestly say that, you know, I'm an expert in the areas that I've trained. Because I put the years in to get good, right?
Yeah.
And so when I teach, I like to show when I teach. I don't say, hey, do 20 push-ups and then I go eat a fucking hamburger in my office, right? I know that I could do it just as good as you or even better than you. So that's my standard that I keep to myself. And so to answer your question, just the time and experience that I have. And I think my students could see that when I teach, that I actually have either done it or know that I'm teaching what I've done before.
And I could say he's very hands-on. So you'll see him come in, he's, you know, hitting pads and, you know, kind of guiding, teaching and all this. And as soon as I'm done with, let's say, kickbox or jiu-jitsu, I'm normally the one that just like goes, you know, back home, and he still stays here. So
Yeah.
So have you ever had those moments where you're like, I'm done, I can't do this anymore?
No,
Really?
it's too fun.
That's good. That's the secret. Then
Yeah, and that's the rare quality. I think, like, I like being here. I sacrifice not being at home, but when I get home, I get fat. I start eating Cheetos and Funyuns and shit.
It's
and
called there's a term. There's a term.
eat all the leftovers.
Oh yeah.
exactly.
When you're like your mouth is idle, so you just have to eat out of boredom.
Right. Like people that stop smoking cigarettes, they end up gaining weight because they have that fixation, the oral fixation.
The oral fixation. Yeah.
And so, no, I like being here. And I think that also makes me unique. You know, as a gym owner, like Jesus said, I'm very hands-on.
Yeah.
I don't like barking orders. I like showing it instead of telling it.
Yeah.
And so that's the difference.
Yeah.
And so what I want to do is, because again, admittedly, I'm not the best fighter on the planet, but I'm a better coach than I'm a fighter. So I'm able to pass on that to people and put my flavor into these guys.
Yeah.
Right.
You have that. So I know you said Sean O'Malley is not like the best. You
Sure.
know, in your eyes. His coach, on the other hand, he did fight. He did lose. He didn't really make it to the UFC.
Yeah.
But he said it himself. He's a better coach than what he was a fighter. So
Okay.
There's like
you have
Greg.
to have that.
Greg Jackson's a good example of that. Zabit. These are just some names in the MMA community. And then there's also the opposite. Someone trying to come in here?
My son.
Oh, okay. It's like, go grab some gloves. There are some few gyms like AKA that the head owner and trainer used to fight as well.
Okay.
But like, all athletes aren't transferably easy in transitioning to be a coach. Right? Like Deion Sanders. Is he a good coach? He's controversial too, right?
Yeah.
Right?
How so?
This is.
Yeah.
This is.
Just the way he shit talks, and one of the greatest football players ever. But is he a cool coach?
Oh, okay.
He's always in the headlines for all the wrong reasons, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
So I guess that makes this gym also survivable in terms of, you know, the standards of the other gyms that opened up. I felt that they were just trying to cash in, and they didn't really have the passion and opening it and the skill set to be able to sustain a successful business.
Yeah.
Those are a lot of big words in one sentence.
Yeah.
But it takes that, right? And so I think the gyms that are still around, especially if you pass that 7-year mark, 10-year mark, and you're still around, you're doing something right. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have interns?
Yes.
Okay. What do they do?
Clean, answer phones, sign up people in the front.
Okay.
And then once people heard that I was taking in interns, like, oh, my son needs a job, or my daughter needs a job. And unfortunately, I take them all in.
Do you pay them?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So it's
not hiring
a
right
job.
now, but yeah, I'm not accepting application. He now works in the front, and he's an interesting story too. But that's another time. But yeah, I do have interns here, and then people that have like senior hours that they got to do. They always ask me if they could do hours here,
Oh, okay.
and so I get free cleaning.
Yes, sir. As you should.
And something that I did mention to the producer also is that this is our first time getting into this space. I, train, so I told them it would be a good idea to, bring in mixed martial arts to our platform. I mean, we're focused on entrepreneurship, small businesses, big businesses. We don't hate, right?
Yeah.
Talent and all that fun stuff. So something that I did mention him is that you have people that you train, you have people that are next, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would like to have the opportunity to create the space where we can,
Follow
have
up.
some of these guys, come here and do all that fun stuff. So
That'd be sick. I got see the wall with all these fighters on there. They'll have their own stories, and some of them more interesting than others. And I don't want to share it for them. There's some pretty good ones, but coming from being incarcerated to winning a belt, or being Olympic alternate to being a champion. Another one being a collegiate scholarship wrestler. After college, what do you do with wrestling? What's the next, feasible thing? MMA, right? So you go to school for all this shit, and then you're like, man, what do I do with it? And so sometimes MMA provides that avenue for some people, right? And so now that it's your first podcast on this, it just opens up a whole new world, because now you could go into all the individual arts, Muay Thai, boxing. He just fought on the Muay Thai card. It was all Muay Thai. But he's an MMA fighter. He still won. But that's another one that you guys could possibly explore.
So we got into this space definitely during the pandemic. Just a quick story. I was cutting, I believe, his brother's hair because I was a barber for quite some time.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
All right.
Even cut my son's hair. We didn't even know.
I cut his
He was
Let me check this
little.
one.
He was like 2 years old.
Okay.
Yes. And we're just talking, and he's always been a great videographer. And around the time we used to turf dance and all this, nonsense at school, and he would shoot his own stuff. Let alone, we brought up this idea on entrepreneurship and all this great things, and that's how we kind of found this podcast. We've been doing it since the pandemic. He actually lives in the Central Valley in Stockton.
Dang.
So,
all right.
So when I meant these fighters, these events, these are things that I do want to let you know that if you do have an event, a competition, whatever the case is, we also would like the opportunity to go ahead and vlog some of these things, right?
Okay.
Where we can go, we'll set up a camera, have these fighters fight, and obviously I would go around asking questions and all this crazy.
That'd be perfect. August would be a good one.
Okay.
Yeah, I have all of them. Last Saturday would have been great too, but I'd say August, you guys could kind of build the I guess the curiosity, but it's the same event, and all the guys are going to come back and fight, so you could follow up for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's us networking beyond the podcast right now too.
So these are things that I'll just be randomly driving, and give them a holler, and we'll just go over things, ideas. How we're gonna do things differently. We never shot like this, right? This is probably a good year. He used to have a studio down in Alameda, right by the Banca Azul. Are you familiar?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's where it's a good 2 years. 2 years? Yes, 2 years. Legitimately would, get these appointments, would go there, would, be on some booze, would drink. We had drinking games, all this, crazy stuff. What we did want to do is we wanted to raise, the content, right? We want to do it in the space. So
okay. You guys are more than welcome. Yeah.
For giving us this opportunity.
Well, this is my first podcast ever. I wasn't nervous. I got a lot to talk about, but I'm just going with the flow. Just whatever.
Yeah.
And in terms of being a business owner, entrepreneurship, like I never grew up and say, hey, I'm going to open an MMA gym. It just kind of fell into place. Again, I was teaching at my old school, and then, that style kind of got old. MMA started getting new. And then I got a couple of people say, hey man, can you help me train for this? Okay. And then I took 4 people in my garage. And the 4 became 8. 8 became 10. I'm like, man, I can't fit. And so rent was cheap back then. So I started looking for like, cheap warehouses, and I found one for super cheap, $1,200 a month.
That's nothing.
Right? Now you can't do that now, right? And so I opened up. It was in where A Street is, right?
Yeah.
And then Meekland. It's not the nicest area.
Okay.
So, anyways, I had a gym. It was an old car shop. I just laid down mats, I cleaned it up, put bags up, and then it just went from 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. And then I'm not saying we made a lot of money, just a lot of people got interested in it. And then I was forced to move out to a bigger spot, which is here. And ultimately, I didn't know that I was going to end up with a big ass gym like this with a full ring. I mean, this ring isn't cheap.
Yeah.
And mats aren't cheap. So my whole life savings is in this bitch.
Right, basically.
Sorry, in this business.
At one point, so there's going to be more people that you can train, that you can train. So how do you pull in reinforcements? Is it your friends and family that also do fighting, and that's how you've been able to like get more trainers? Or?
Good question. Good question. So the community is small. And so the people that support you are even smaller, just like friends, right? And so I will always implore or pull in people that I trust that have the same vision as me and have the same direction as me. Luckily, I was able to find talent in each of the martial arts, in the boxing, Muay Thai, and Jiu-Jitsu, that I could trust. And that's the reason why the formula works and that we could produce champions out of here is because we're solid in each category.
Yeah.
And so I bring in the same people that I've been training with 15, 20 years ago. And the other instructors like Rob and all them, they've been with me for 20 years plus.
Wow.
It's the same people. We haven't changed much.
And they were with you in that last garage as well?
They were with me, although on the other school as well. I think.
Are they also investing into the space, or is this all you?
Another good question.
Okay.
So because of their help, the way I reward my employees, first of all, I pay them to teach the classes. So then they get a month's salary. It's not a lot. They can't, no one's rolling freaking Mercedes in the parking lot, right? But they could earn a living. So what I allow them to do is I allow them to, do their own private lessons, have private students, have their own little like seminars or boot camps. And that's how they make their money on the side. Right? And they could charge as much as they want. I don't take any commission. I don't take any fees from them. That's all their money. And so that kind of makes them loyal to the gym, right? Like, oh, he's allowing me to be me and do my thing.
Right.
And keep all my money.
Yeah.
And even the fighters, when they make purses, I don't ask for their money. I make money at Google, so I'm good, right? And so I don't need to take money from them. This is my opportunity to give to them and get them started. And then in return, I get their loyalty and respect.
If I win, you win.
Exactly. We all win, right? And if I'm eating, everyone's going to eat, right? And so they reciprocate that in their teaching. And like Rob's never bored when he teaches. He likes to be. He's here every day. He's an example. 5 a.m. till 9 p.m. He's here.
Wow.
Every day, even on the weekends.
Yeah.
But he's hustling.
Yeah.
And he's making his money. And that's how he makes his money. That's how he makes his living.
Yeah.
He never has to sit on a job. His boss is me, which I don't tell him what to do.
Right.
And he makes his own schedule.
Yeah.
So Freddie's the same way too.
Wow.
Yeah. Coach Freddie, shout out to Coach Freddie. But, he could have as many or as little students as he wants during the week.
It all depends on his hustle. Then.
Yeah, and he could charge as much as. Of course, I'm going to hold him to my standard, right? I'm not going to have him teaching karate in the garage or anything like that, right? But Step Brothers reference. You guys know the movie Step Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I allow them to have their own freedom to run their own brand and run their own business. So some of them take it more serious than others, and some of them don't take advantage of it. So that's their prerogative.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I love that. The way that you have set up this gym, it's like it belongs to everybody.
Yes.
In a way.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good looking gym.
It's
Walk in
a
here,
really
you have
nice
weights in
gym.
the back.
It is.
It's clean.
Yeah.
My number one thing is smell and cleanliness, right?
I think the only flag that I'm missing is probably like a Mexican flag.
Add it. Get it for me. I'll hang it up. Always get complaints on that.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Really?
I got America, my Filipino,
I mean, you have
Brazil.
Brandon Moreno, you know, in the UFC.
Put it up there. I'll put it up there.
Fresh champion.
100%. I'll support the Mexican community for sure.
Got
My whole
to.
name is Spanish. Shit.
Well, yeah, that's not Mexican then.
No, it's not.
So
Same shit. Not kidding.
So love life, Shifu. How do you how did you find your wife, right? Like, what was your dating?
We're gonna go that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go there.
All right. I bought her online.
Ah.
Shut up.
No, I didn't buy it. No, I didn't buy it.
I was like, okay, tell me more.
No, we met through a mutual friend. I had a girlfriend at the time, right? And she was her best friend was like dating my really good friend, and you know when like, hey, I'm gonna go meet him, and they're Canadian, right? And so they're like, I want to go meet him. So she's like, I'll go with you. You know, you gotta bring a friend with you, right? Especially traveling to meet a dude by herself. And then I saw her and I was like, oh, she's cool, but damn, I got this one right here.
Don't stop your blessings.
Yeah, we stayed friends even after we broke up. And then she ended up moving down here for school. It was really for me though. It wasn't for school.
You never know.
And the green card.
Gotcha.
No.
Gotcha.
No, she ended up going here for school. First it was for nursing, and then she ended up doing, you know, other stuff. She got her degree in HR in business. And then after, you know, playing the game of, like, let me show you around the Bay Area.
She
Tour
forgot
guide.
the game.
That game right there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
This is my bedroom over here. You ever seen this in the Bay Area? This is it. I hope her parents don't watch this. But no, you know, I was playing tour guide, and then, you know, we were good friends at the time. And then her student visa expired, right? And I was super digging her. And then we had to make the decision, if she were to go back to Canada, she can't come back for 2 years. So I was like, man, let's just go to the court already and just do it already. And she's like, for reals? And here's the story that she's going to tell you. Are you familiar with South City?
South City, a little bit.
There's this restaurant called Intramuros Lounge.
Okay.
Right? For some reason, they converted this morgue into a restaurant. There's a morgue before.
Very vampy, I'm supposing.
Well, like, you know, like all the little rooms where Cassidy's used to be and shit, and like chapel and stuff.
So
And it was like a nightclub. Now it's a bar and shit, and it's like really weird. Yeah, and then it's a restaurant, and the morgue part was now the kitchen.
God.
It's weird. But anyways, she'll tell everyone that I proposed to her in the morgue. But technically it was. But we ended up beating the visa deadline, and we went to San Francisco City Hall in 2009, and then called it for reals.
And it's been solid ever since.
Yeah.
Because think about this, right? I think Shifu, he could even be a therapist at this point, right? Like even a couple therapists. I mean, dude has his own business. His wife supports him. I mean, how many people are doing that, right?
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna say something. Because I've only been in the relationship I'm in for a couple years and a half.
Okay. That's long.
And I could, and you know, I'm 35 now. In this stage of my life, I can now see how people can like be very supportive of one another and don't have to be next to one another either. You know what I'm saying? Like now, I could see that. If you would have asked me that 10 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, how do people do it? Like, how do people not be next to one another the whole entire lifespan?
So you're more like,
I'm on this side now.
Gotcha,
like I'm
gotcha.
more
Okay.
like,
but before you're
we need the space to develop as individuals, and when we come back, it's even more doper and even more connected.
No, that's 100% the reason why it works. Because I got married at 35, right?
Yeah.
And I even have a kid till 38. So I took my time.
Yeah.
I didn't, you know how some people get married like at 21?
Right.
And all you just see them is just fighting.
Right. Because you're still developing as a human.
And so they weren't able to mature as a complete adult and to try things and to fail at things and to experience the world, right? And some of them still feel like, I need to do something. Like I didn't do something. I did everything I needed to do by 35. And so by that point, I'm like, man, why not? You know, let me just do it already. And so that's my love life in a nutshell. Yeah. She'll tell you I'm Mr. International though, because I did date like every race on the planet.
That's great. I mean, come on.
No, I'm not like a stutter or anything, you know, but but like, you know, the Vietnamese, Cambodian.
Got game.
No,
okay,
no game.
Vietnamese,
Just,
Cambodian.
Yeah, and then I have to go back to Filipino.
Gotcha.
But then we ended up taking that year and then planning the big wedding. And so we got married for real, 2010. And then she had 100 Canadians fly in. And then my parents like invited every Asian freaking relative possible. So it ended up being a 300-person wedding.
Yikes.
Ooh, yeah, but it was sick though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we plan on celebrating my 50th birthday like that too.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys are invited.
Okay. Heck yeah. We'll pull up.
Celebration. Not a lot of people make it to 50, right?
That's very true. It's very true.
True.
What do you think it is? Is it health? Is it training? Is it
He
food?
just said he's healthy as a motherfucker.
No, no,
He's happy.
no, absolutely.
He's happy.
Not
and
all the
healthy.
time. I'm not
Nope.
healthy all the time.
No, but just in general, you know, you have, let's say, even people that come in here, right? And,
Yeah.
you know, even what's the ratio of people coming in, training, and then leaving, right?
All right, that's a good question.
Mhm.
Luckily, I think on average, people stay here for 2 to 3 years,
That's
right? And then you'll get the people that go like, oh, I'm gonna do MMA, and they come in, they're like, fuck, this shit's hard, and they quit, right? Because they don't understand that it's not what you see on TV. Like that took years to look like that, right? Just like singers, that took years to do that, dancers, so forth. Same with MMA, right? Or any discipline at that matter. And so it takes hard work. And we're not a foo-foo, you know, cardio kickboxing gym. We're teaching real stuff here. And so when they come in and they try it and they're like, damn, that's hard, they end up quitting. But a good majority stay because they like, oh, okay, I could actually carry these skills in self-defense
Yeah.
or in confidence, or I could pass it on to my friends, family,
like an
and kids.
endurance thing more
Yeah.
than anything.
And
too.
how many people do you know that think they know how to fight, but don't, right? Because
There's a stat on that.
because you go to, let's say, for example, a bar, let's say, not even if that's your scene, right? Even out in the streets, right? Oakland was, you know, dangerous growing up, and you just normally see just people just doing this, you know, doing that.
Oh yeah.
What is that ratio of people that come in and think they know how to fight, but once they actually come in and, you know, they start either sparring or they go against somebody that does know, like they find out.
They get humbled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, after I found out, 90%.
90%.
90%. 90% of men think that they could do things that they're not actually capable of doing. And that's for real. Not just fighting and just in general, because it's a manly thing to think that way, right? And so that's the reason why, like I said earlier, when people are here, I get the most genuine version of themselves. After they get broken down,
Oh yeah.
right? After they get like, oh shit, this is for reals. And then they start to change their behavior and they start to change their thought process. They start changing their point of view, and then they respect it.
Yeah.
And then that's the reason why they stay. Because now like, oh, I'm investing in myself now.
Yeah.
And I'm making a better version of myself.
But this should be an investment to yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know, mixed martial arts should be
Yeah.
an investment.
Definitely.
Of course, you get some of the people that come in here like, oh, I got these guys fucking me at school. I'm gonna fucking learn so I could go kick their ass. I mean, you get those too. And those you're always gonna have knuckleheads in here. So we got a couple knuckleheads in here. And that's just the mixture of people. But the majority of people here have come in with the mentality of, oh, I could do this.
Right.
Yeah.
How often are you getting new people?
I could boast confidently that we're about 400 members. It took me 15 years to do it that way, though. Me and my wife struggled with finances for so long. Imagine I get any extra money, but I gotta buy new bags. Or I get extra money, I want a purse. Oh, I gotta buy an assault bike, right? And so she also sacrificed not getting her nails done for a couple of years and getting eyelashes and stuff like that. And we lived pretty humble and simple. Is because she knew the investment needed to come in. And I had to enforce in her the vision, like, hey, just let me do this. Because later on, like, for example, if I retire in 60 and this gym's still here, I don't got work. It'll still pay me in the long run, right? And so I have to make this a solid venture so that I could source from it when my later years, right? And potentially open another location or whatever, right? I don't know if I want to, because it's hard to instill the values that I've instilled here and to have it transfer into another spot. And then to have a staff that also follows suit, that's tough.
That's tough.
And I don't want to be too greedy. Right. I want to.
You have so many people opening different gyms, right?
I do.
There's few people opening gyms. At least you hear a little bit more about it.
I don't want to oversaturate myself, right? And jump into a market and then the second location bombs and then all my investment kind of gets sucked away because it didn't, I mean, if it happens organically and it works, maybe, right? I was thinking of doing one in Canada.
Wow.
Because they don't have a lot of MMA gyms in Canada, but I don't have the support up there like I do over here.
All the way out there?
Out. And about.
And about. Yeah. It's a Canada way.
Okay.
It is. She has an accent. It's funny.
Have you ever watched How I Met Your Mother?
No, not really.
That's where I got it from.
Are they Canadian?
One of them is a
Jane.
character named Robin.
Like Mike Myers is Canadian. Who else? Ryan Reynolds. Who else? Can we name some Canadian people?
I don't know too many.
Yeah,
Drake.
Drake.
There you go. That's like the biggest one.
Yeah, that is the biggest one.
That's the
Drake.
biggest one. What is a Netflix show right now that you're watching? I mean,
Resident Alien.
Resident Alien.
Yeah, watch it. It's
This-
funny.
This is the second time I hear this. Honestly,
Funny. Super funny.
How about yourself?
Something I'm watching is shit. I watch a whole lot of stuff. Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
I just
Okay.
finished watching.
Okay,
it.
okay.
I like shit that makes you think
Yeah.
and then talk about after.
Yeah.
hmm
Someone told me I gotta start Shogun.
Shogun.
That's sick?
I
I
haven't
haven't
seen
watched it yet.
Oh, samurai shit?
Okay.
Like real samurai shit?
That's
that.
fire though.
Oh,
They said it's pretty dope though.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But I don't really watch TV.
No.
No. Imagine coming home at 11.
Mm.
I gotta
Yeah.
shower, eat, change,
You eat at 11.
sometimes later. Because it takes me a while to wind down, right? I'm like boxing with people, so when I get home, I'm amped. So it takes me a while, you know. Unfortunately, I have some vices to stop me from my mind thinking. So sometimes it's tequila,
Nah, I like tequila.
right?
Yeah.
But
I'm more of a mezcal girl.
Mezcal?
Even though I don't really drink all like that.
That's
I
good.
don't.
I've been doing
like,
gummies too.
Gummies.
Yeah, that
I won't smoke because I need the cardio.
yeah.
But that's the only thing that shuts my brain off. Otherwise, my mind just keeps going.
Mm.
And so, anyways, my nights don't end till like 2, 3 in the morning sometimes.
Yikes. And then you
Yeah.
get up like around what time?
7:38.
So how is your body doing that?
It
Like,
doesn't do.
that's-
See the dad bod? It's in full effect right now. I got the little dad gut going on, but it's sexy. I heard it's sexy. It's in style right now. The dad bod's in right now, right? Come on.
You're asking for confirmation.
Yeah, come on, man. Dad bods are, you gotta have a little bit of bicep, and then you gotta have the chest, but you gotta have the gut. That's the sexy part.
I think like white
No, it's not.
hairs are sexier.
Yeah?
Honestly. My man, he has like one here and one here, and I'm like, ooh, it's coming in. Like I don't know why I think it's so wise.
What about the Asian white hair, like coming out the mole and shit? like the Chinese guys?
I don't know if
it's
it has
not,
the same effect.
no, not sexy?
Not the same effect.
You said not the same effect.
No? All right, just checking. It's a cultural thing.
It's definitely a cultural
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
How many knockouts have you like experienced?
Oh,
Like in
Cold.
practice, fighting in general?
Yeah.
Quite a bit. Yeah, quite a bit. I had this one dude, ironically, he's Chinese. He was 6'2", and he didn't have the etiquette. There's also a language barrier. And so he was John Joning people in the knees. And what I'm talking about is he would stomp on people's knees. And so he hurt one of the coaches by stomping on the knee and bending his leg back. And he doesn't know that, hey, man, you shouldn't be doing that in sparring. That's kind of like a dick move. It's like kicking someone in the nuts, right? And so he fucking did it to another coach, and that coach got pissed. And so that coach ended up knocking him out with a roundhouse. Spinning roundhouse.
Yeah. Wow.
Twice, because he got up and came back and sparred again.
Man.
Yeah. That's one crazy knockout.
no, but
Another-
he's talking about you though.
Oh, me?
You put that on me. I'm already
that's what I
I'm
thought
already
you-
no, I'm already just talking about just in general. Like how many have you experienced? Yeah, like
okay, because you said
like
experience.
seen, like yeah. But okay, I guess
How many concussions have you had?
0.
Damn.
Yeah, because I'm that good. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No,
he's being
I'm
serious.
I'm careful. No, I'm careful. I've always been on the smaller side. I'm lucky to have good training partners
Yeah.
that don't want to hurt me. And so I've been lucky to always put myself in the safest position possible.
Okay.
Accidents happen, yes, but it always happens to my nuts. Right?
Okay.
Seriously, it's a thing. It's a thing. You're kicking high and someone kicks low.
Yeah.
You're going to get the chonies kicked every once in a while, right? I've had my share of injuries, though. That's the part that sucks. So as opposed to getting knocked out or concussions, stuff like that, people assume that we're just headhunting in here and trying to fucking knock each other's heads off. But unfortunately...
It's more body hit.
Yeah. And that's exactly the point, right? When you put your body through this stuff, stuff tends to fail. I've had a torn groin, a torn hip, a torn hamstring. I almost tore my Achilles. I had the inside and outside of my calf torn. I tore my MCL. I had a pinched nerve.
Damn.
I mean, I could keep going. And so what I like to preach is as hard as you train, you got to recover just as hard. And so I have a massage and stretch therapist here. I have a chiropractor on hand as well.
That's very true.
Because I preach that, you know, like a chicken bone, right? You start doing this, it's gonna eventually break.
Yeah.
Right. So as much as you push one way, you gotta push the other way. And so you gotta evenly take care of your body. As hard as you train, you gotta take care of it, whether it be massages, ice baths, steams.
Are you fully recovered? Do you think?
Hell no, I still
No?
got shit going around.
Okay.
A lot of people
That's
ask like,
hella
how,
scary.
yeah, it is. But again, it was my fault though, because in my 20s and 30s, I used to go hard. And I didn't think like stretching or yoga was important at that time. I just did the man thing and just put the mouthpiece in and train.
And even let alone, bro, he's mad flexible.
I used to be,
and
yeah.
we'll get stuff for it if we're doing like a semi, splits. Like, he'll call it. He'll be like, "Man, none of you guys be stretching."
I could tell.
Yeah.
And that was luckily instilled in me earlier, but recovery wasn't, because back in the day we didn't have cryotherapy and ice cold baths and shit like that, right? And what else do people do nowadays? CBD oils and shit like that. And so now, being in my 40s, like, shit hurts, man. You get kicked, that bruise doesn't go away in 2 days, it goes away in 2 weeks. Start smelling like Ben Gay and fucking Salonpas and shit.
Fucking Tiger Balm.
Tiger Balm. Dude, we smell like that at night. And it smells good to me too, because I know I'm getting healed up. As a matter of fact, I have a recovery session today at 2, so that's why.
Okay.
But we could take our time. But
So we gotta
that's
get
cool,
going.
it's cool. But it's important that you add that into training. And the overall formula for staying young is taking care of your body.
What about your mind?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Kind of how we alluded to how when you come train here, and that no matter how bad of a day you had, and you could come here and release that negative energy and come home with a new relief, and being able to step away and come back, that is definitely good for mental health.
Yeah.
Right.
The aggression stays here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, we had a jiu-jitsu member who's a black belt, was a police officer from Foster City, and he shot himself. And he was training with all the guys that come here the day before. You could tell nothing was wrong. You didn't know anything was wrong. And that Monday, he unfortunately, took his life. Wow. And no one would have ever known. He's black belt too, on top of that, right? No one would have ever known he had something going wrong. And so that's why I'm trying to be, I try to be cool to everybody, because you don't know what everyone's going through.
Right.
You know what I mean? People come here for different reasons, and I want it to be able to be like a safe haven where they don't have to take their troubles into here, and they can just forget for the 2-3 hours that they're here.
While they're here.
Yeah.
Because some people do really well with masking their pain, like really well.
Yeah.
To the point that it's like, you would never know.
Yeah. And there's little things as well. What I do for work is, talk about product. I'm almost like a product promoter of a wholesale company that, focuses on, residential and commercial, buildings and all that fun stuff. But a lot of it could be just talking all day, emails, calls. So even coming here, I mean, that's like the minor thing. There's people doing construction. There's people
I need to come here then.
There's people doing
Get
more
my aggression out.
hard labor, kind of work.
Yeah.
But even coming here, spending that hour, that 2 hours, right? Hour 30. Yeah. Sometimes Shifu has us do more rolls than he's like, today, you guys are lucky. You guys are going to go 2 more rounds, right? But right after, Zen. Just, yeah.
But male mental health is also a big subject to talk about, because it's normal for men to hold things in and not to like, hey, Jesus, I'm feeling kind of vulnerable today, man.
Yeah.
You want to come out and talk, man? I need a hug, man.
That's seriously, can I just say that's seriously the strongest thing that a man can do is be soft.
Yeah.
That's the strongest thing you can do, because instead of you doing the most to your friends, family, or loved ones, to internalize it and take it there, like, you rather be real about it. And there's something so hard about doing that.
It's the male's, social aspect of how men are viewed and how men should be.
It's generational too,
Of course.
It's taught. It was taught that.
It's still taught that, especially in the Mexican and Filipino and Asian community. The male's got to be the male, right? And the female's got to be the female.
But that's a lot of pressure on the males as well.
It is. And so, with that being said, we don't have avenues like when the girls get together. They just, they could do that. We're more like, What's up?
And they can express as well.
Yeah.
They just make a call. They'll be in the phone for an hour.
Well-
they'll cry.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think we
No,
all.
I'm serious. I'm
We
serious.
all
Yeah.
And then
have-
and then right before you know it, okay, give me a second. He's calling me right now. And then they'll answer, but they already released it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what we call buffers in our lives. We have to have our buffers. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Before I go off on you, I'm gonna call somebody else and just
Gotcha.
have them be my buffer before it gets to you.
Ah.
You s- yeah.
That's
But I
from,
think even within women, still there's a lot of gaps of emotional support because you don't know whether women are really like there for you or just want to see you like in a different light for their own benefit.
Okay, elaborate.
Well, I mean, I'm 35 now, and I keep saying that because I'm 35. Hey, I feel good. I like it. I like it here. I don't like it in my 20s. My 20s was chaotic. That's what I'm saying. But with age comes wisdom, right? And I feel like I know more. And I don't need 20 people to tell me, you know what I'm saying, to give me validation.
yeah.
I can give myself validation.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I mean, we still need our support group. And so we have to be very wary and like we have to pick and select what people are going to receive it all, right? The good, the bad, the ugly. Because you never know. We always have people who are like sucking, like draining your energy. And they do that by just being there for you in the bad times, but they're not there for you in the good times. You know what I'm saying? Like they want to know what controversy is going on in your life. They want to know what's going on that's killing you. You know what I'm saying? And in a way, they might just bring it back to themselves and say, "Oh, well, I'm doing much better than her." It's not. It's not supportive. It's what we call a trauma bond.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
So.
And did he have a lot of naysayers? Did you have people
Haters?
like on your come up being like that's not gonna work or always, just hating on it? Yeah.
100%. To be honest, like owning a gym is a competition, right? Oh, that gym ain't as good as us. Oh, their coach isn't good as us.
That was my follow up question.
Yeah.
Is there between gyms? Is there some gyms that are that gym? We don't like that gym.
Not gonna say exactly.
No, I'm gonna tell you why. Because before we took the opportunity to ask Shifu about doing this is the gym that I come to. I come 5 days a week if I can, 6 days a week, and I train, right? But there is other gyms, and I said it to him that want to do a podcast. But before I'm gonna do any podcast, I'm gonna do it at where I come. This is where I spend my time and
Home base.
So. But with that said, I mean, I'm not saying people saying anything, right? But I do want to know whether there is let's say
Do you experience that? Do you are you knowing about any drama?
Of course. Is there an unsaid competition? 1000%.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, you said unsaid.
Unsaid.
So you don't hear about it.
I hear it all the time.
Oh.
But I'll never hear it from the gym owner or the gym trainers. Because we all possess the same type of skill set, right? But what I will say is gyms depend on their reputation, right? If I say this gym, if I were to say Ernie Reyes, what do you guys think of Ernie Reyes? That's old school Taekwondo kind of school. Or I would say AKA. And you'd be like, oh yeah, they got champions. That's a legit ass gym. So there's always like the first layer of what you think the gym is, and then there's your layers below it, right? So with that being said, yes, there's competitions in fucking gyms, man. Oh, fuck that gym. Oh, fuck that gym. And especially when we sign contracts to fight other gyms, it's competitive. Like we lost to that gym like 3 times. We got to get this one back.
Okay.
Or, we beat that gym and we can't seem to beat that gym. And so, of course, there's always that unsaid competition.
Yeah. How do you handle that?
Do I look like an MMA instructor? I don't have tattoos. I don't have cauliflower. I don't have the look of a fighter, right?
Yeah.
And so whenever I'm in there's all these fighters, other trainers and gyms, and they're like, "Who's your head coach?" And they're like, "That guy." And like a little short, skinny Asian, no, not skinny, but Asian dude. They don't expect me to be the head trainer, so I don't check those boxes as a MMA guy, right?
Yeah.
And so the shit talking even goes, "Oh, that's the fucking head trainer. You don't know what he's doing." And I like that though, because I like them that they don't know what my skills are. And if you look at our social media, on our Instagram, I don't post sparring, I don't post drills, I don't post pad work, because I don't want anyone to know what we do here. although it's counterproductive on selling your business, I rely on the reputation of the
The
gym
word of mouth,
to
yeah.
get members. And then when they step on the mat and they go like, oh, okay, I see why people go here. That's what I depend on. Do I want to do all that shit? Hell yeah. I want to show spinning kicks and knockouts and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But that's not how I roll with my gym. I just like people to find out on their own. Yeah.
It's more genuine that way.
And
Yeah, but it's tougher on bringing money in, right? Because now I can't show off my gym.
but you're doing something like podcasts where
Right.
you know
that
you're
part.
you're gonna go ahead and showcase this, and you know, to the viewerships. There's gonna be even some viewerships that already have gyms as well, right?
Yeah.
You know, some people that follow our podcast, you know, have their, you know, let's say gyms as well. But what I could say is when I found this gym, I started coming here very little. I did believe it was kickbox at the time, and then bought a house in the Central Valley, moved, worked over there for 2 years, was remote. But as soon as I came back, they gave me an opportunity for work. So I came back to the Bay Area.
Yeah, remember that.
And as soon as I came back, I knew the gym that I was going to come back to. This was his gym. So
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And I like that impression that I'm able to leave on some people. Like, oh, I had a good experience there. And if I had the opportunity, I'd come back. Because, you know, when people quit, there's various reasons: work, money,
Life be life.
life. I had a kid, whatever. Or I went to another gym because I found that was better. My gym is not for everybody. Let's be real, right? You know, some people may not like this community. Oh, that's too gay for me. Sorry.
But that's what I was going to
But
say.
you know what I mean?
That's what I was going to
Yeah.
say. It's a community here,
Yeah.
bro. Like,
Ain't nothing wrong with being gay.
Right.
no.
Nothing.
That's not where I was going, but it is the community here.
Yeah.
It's the people that are coming to train here. You can tell they care. You can tell they're trying to get better. That's what I enjoy about.
Yeah.
And you know, again, you know, this gym is not for everybody. You know, they may not like the way I teach or how my other instructors teach. And I always tell people that join, like, what makes you better than any other gym? I said, we're not better than any other gym.
Right.
It's just a matter of fact is, does your personality fit in this gym?
Right.
Right. Just like anything you do, your clothes, your restaurants that you like and stuff.
Yeah.
And so you figure that out. I'll tell you what we offer, and you know, we're good at these things, but do you like being here? You know, it doesn't say that I'm better than gym A and gym B and C over there, but that gym, they're all assholes over there, and over here they just touch each other's butt all day. You know what I mean? So you don't know, they play touch butt all day. Which gym do you want to be
You
like?
do know that that's a move, though, right?
No.
No, seriously, right? There's that move.
I'm glad you didn't stay with you.
That is a move where
Oh God.
I'm not sure, but I believe they put their fingers in.
It's called checking the oil.
Checking the oil.
God,
It's
okay.
legit.
It's in wrestling, like
Yeah.
you know, because they're going for grips, and sometimes you know this middle finger happens to slip in the butt crack and into what's inside the butt crack. So it happens.
And that's kind of, you know, when you're doing mountain climbing, you're just trying to see where
Yep.
you can put your, you know, your little fingers to, you know, go and climb, and where you're gonna resist, and you know, the tension. That's that.
Terrible.
Yeah.
The worst is like getting sweat in your mouth,
Ah.
getting some sweat in your eyeball.
Mhm.
That sucks.
When they're on top and they're just dripping,
Yeah.
Like salty and shit.
Oh man. Or
lands on your eye. Your
yeah, the
mouth.
sweat in the eyeball. That one's fun.
Oof.
Or when people like don't have good etiquette on their laundry, and they take their gloves off, and then they're like holding you like this, and then when you smell your skin, even after you shower, it still smells like them.
Yeah.
Oh, grabbing the jujitsu gi like this, and they got dirty ass gi, and it's in your nails, in your nail beds, and then you go wash your hands, and it still smells like them.
I don't think I've experienced that one yet.
Oh, I've had that plenty of times, man. So I won't roll with certain
some
people.
type of thick
Okay.
skin to do this type of
It
work.
does.
Yeah.
But I'm
absolutely.
picky who I train with. Like, I won't roll with certain people. If you notice, I won't roll with certain people. I'm not gonna say any names, but you know who you are. I'm not gonna roll with you because you know we don't have the same body etiquette and the laundry etiquette. You gotta put the downy in that shit and use hot water,
They got a thing called boosters.
dude. I if you look at the gym, like we keep it pretty clean. I'm a
Yeah,
pretty
it
clean
is.
person. The last thing you want is an outbreak of a disease. We've had very minimal outbreaks just because I'm really high on hygiene.
Yeah.
But ringworm and staph infections
Yeah.
requires a doctor's visit
Yeah.
and and requires medicine and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And you don't want like, hey, I went to the gym and got some fucking germs and shit. You know, you don't want that look. It's not a good look,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
levels of cleanliness for sure everywhere.
Yikes.
Oh, check.
You use that one day?
I'm surprised you. I'm surprised you didn't.
No, I'm serious. This is what goes on. This,
should-
No, I
these are
know.
actual
I'm
things.
sure.
You said your relationship's been 2.5 years?
Sure.
I think you're green light to go try it out. Like, hey, babe, look what I learned today. Like when he's like, fixing his car or doing laundry. Hell yeah.
Hey, they
MMA. This is MMA.
But they say that's how you know it's a healthy relationship.
You see?
He'll get up from the couch and I'm like, "Whoop,
There you
Yeah.
go.
we're in a healthy relationship.
new-
We can do that,
It's a new move for you. And it's legal.
and it's legal."
It is legal. It's unfortunately legal.
That's wild. Well, thank you so much for teaching us all these new things and
Oh, there's
sharing
more. You want some more?
about experiences. Damn.
I appreciate you guys having me on. First podcast. I hope I didn't bore you. I hope I didn't speak too fast. I just speak what's on my mind. No fakeness about it.
Very genuine. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
I like to show appreciation for everyone that's been supporting me for all this time. I wouldn't be here without people like Jesus and yourself coming in, even just interested in being here.
Yeah.
I like to pique people's interest in the sport. It's not what everyone thinks. It's not a meathead sport. I think it's thinking man sport. And I think you have to have a certain level of intelligence to do it because they're really complex moves. And it takes practice, discipline, and just the willingness to do it over and over and over again and to fail at it over and over and over again. And then when you stop failing and you get it, that's the part that keeps people coming back. Right? So when you finally get the move, you're like, oh shit, it works.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I want more of that. So that becomes a drug.
Yeah.
And that becomes the reason why they keep coming back.
Yeah.
And me. Come back for me in the gym. Just kidding.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
So what is your Instagram? Where can they follow you?
Okay. Bay Area Fight Academy, all one word on IG. I don't usually post action stuff, but I will post, post-event stuff or upcoming events, fights, championship fights. I will assure you guys that all the fighters that I post are exciting ass fighters. They're not boring. They go for it.
Yeah.
We have a reputation for winning belts. We have a total of 9 belts here, right? All hard-earned, all good fights. Facebook is the same, Bay Area Fight Academy, and then we're working on our website to be a little bit better. I'm weak at that. I'm very poor at social media myself because I try not to be on my phone too much. Having here the wife, the kids, I don't want my phone to be another avenue to be disconnected to my family and friends. So I try and stay off as much as possible. But when people post shit, I'll just repost their shit. That's just my lazy way of being on social media. But anyways, Bay Area Fight Academy in IG. And hopefully with this, I can up my social media content and get with the times because I think I'm a little bit old on that.
Come be part of the show. If you want to showcase your business, Who Got the Juice is the platform.